Welcome to the Goth and the Sloth. I am your Sloth, Matt.
And I'm Luna the Goth.
This is a podcast of two friends living a country apart and surviving the end of 2020.
Mm-hmm.
We decided to take the first part of our podcast to discuss the COVID-19 pandemic, how it ruined our 2020, how it ruined your 2020, and how 2020 is almost over.
It is almost over. So close.
Almost there.
Mm-hmm.
So how you been?
I'm okay. The holidays have been great. I just have a wild headache situation happening the last couple days, and I'm fighting a cat. Okay. um, I just you guys can't see it, but Matt just watched me birth a cat out from a
Yep.
blanket. She's been keeping me company. But yeah, I'm all right. What about you?
Yeah, good. Yeah, the holidays are good and all the fun stuff.
Yay.
Yeah.
Lots of family.
Yeah. So let's jump into it. How's the greater Virginia area doing these days?
Well, we definitely could be doing worse, so I guess I'll take that as a win, question mark.
Right?
Yeah, like I think as of right now, Virginia is not in one of the states that's like barreling towards awfulness, but we're like steadily moving in that direction.
Oh no.
So we are at 336,175 cases, which is up about 32,000 from last week. Um, Given some numbers in some other states, I'm thankful that it is that low,
Mm,
but that is still nuts.
that's a lot.
Um, we are at 17,605 hospitalizations, which is up about 800 from last week. And 220 more people have died. So we are
Oof.
at 4,861 deaths. And we have 13 cases of multi-syndrome inflammatory syndrome in children.
Ooh.
So um, it's certainly not good. I don't want to make it sound like we're doing well here.
Yeah,
Um, it's just bad.
it is.
So I guess the other thing that I wanted to note was that I heard someone say in the news, we were watching the news yesterday, that for every hour in December, at least 100 people have died.
Wow.
Isn't that nuts?
That's insane.
Yeah, that's crazy pants. Bad, bad, crazy pants. Um,
Oof.
but yeah, it's just, I mean, we're at zero ICU beds in Southern California. It's just nasty out there.
Yep.
And we just need relief from the government, which,
Would be nice.
as of right now, the original bill has been signed by the president. So I guess a $600 check is going to happen.
Yeah, it's gotten
Yeah.
very confusing where that's even at anymore too. So
Yeah,
I don't
well,
even
he
know.
he finally signed it last night. Um, they had to chase him down to Mar-a-Lago to be like, help the people that you are the president of. This freaking joke, man. And then, like, of course, he tried to screw over the Republicans by being like, do 2,000. And all the Democrats are like, yes, do that. And then the GOP didn't budge on that. So
Yeah.
600 it is. Blame the GOP for not getting it.
Yep. Absolutely.
All right, how's Colorado?
Uh, better? Question mark. So we're at 325,018 cases, which is up 2,000 from week to week.
Mm.
Oh, sorry, 20,000. Sorry,
Okay, I was
20.
gonna say like 2,000. You lucky
20,000.
bastard.
17,912 hospitalizations, which is up 782 week to week, which
Mm.
is better than last week, but not by a lot. And 3,605 deaths, which is up 178, which is better than last week's 400,
Yeah.
but that's still almost 200 people that died in a week.
Yeah. Yeah. Not good. I mean, on the other hand, the vaccine is going out,
It is.
so it's continuing to be shoved in people's arms as it should be.
And yeah, outside of some minor, um, what do I want to call
Allergic
it? Allergic,
reactions.
yeah. Overall, no one's like had any like major problems with it. So,
No. Yeah, the people that had the allergic reactions typically knew that they've had this sort of reaction in the past, so
yep.
but yeah, I mean, the Moderna vaccine is in circulation, the Pfizer vaccine is in circulation. Obviously, we need to keep vaccinating at a rapid pace. We're nowhere near where we should be, but it's something.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah, I'm getting there. Colorado doesn't really have any news or movement on our lockdown. I think we're gonna continue in the same level, for a while here. So
yeah, Virginia's are the same.
yeah, so I don't imagine my band's show on January 17th is gonna happen, but
I'm
who
gonna go
knows?
out on a limb and say probably not.
Probably
Um,
not.
but maybe they will figure out a vaccine they can distribute by air, like some sort of superhero movie, and everybody is better immediately.
Possibly. Although I'd love to see the freak out on that with all the
Oh
conspiracy
God,
people.
they instantly wear masks.
Um,
Oh God,
and
what a
yeah,
strange world we live in.
it is a strange world because there's still videos going around. There's another one making its round of someone that's refusing to wear a mask in a store still,
hmm
12 months later almost at this point, going,
hmm
no, it's not real. I've just reached my point. I'm not going to do it anymore.
Oh God,
Like,
was it the girl?
yeah.
And then the other girl quit.
I didn't see that part of the person quitting, but
Uh,
it was at like, it looked like a Target or maybe like a Walgreens.
oh, okay, never mind. The one I'm
Okay.
talking about was a cafe. And this girl came in and was like, "I'm just not wearing a mask to walk 5 feet into a restaurant to then take my mask off." Blah 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 blah. And the girl that was working there just had enough and walked out on the job.
Yeah.
She was like, I'm done.
Yeah, there's another one
She's
of those at an IHOP where two dudes came in. Like, we're not fun. Like, they obviously came in. They were already recording. Like, they were trying to
Yeah,
be a
they were being
thing. And
assholes.
she was like, yeah, I've had enough of this. I'm gone.
Yeah, I just saw a TikTok last night of a guy who was filming himself in Walmart not wearing a mask, like, "Ooh, look at me, I'm in Walmart not wearing a mask." But the look on his face was like terrified, and his eyes were darting all over the place. Like he's trying to be a badass, but he's like, ah, no one's like, hopefully they don't see me not wearing a mask. Like, what the hell? Come on,
It's,
you
yeah.
ain't fooling nobody.
Like, just get used to it, man. We should be wearing it regardless in public. We need to adopt what the Japanese have been doing for years already and just wear it all the
Yeah,
time in public, anyways.
yeah. When you only have a couple of brain cells, it makes it a lot harder to think through sentences. We try to we try to give them all the facts, but somehow they just keep getting over to Nancy Pelosi eats babies. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's a weird world when you have all of the world's information at your fingertips for free. You can look up all of it, and they still don't.
hmm
So what's going on in Luna's world?
So I guess I'll just talk about the holiday since that's the time of year this is.
Yeah.
I I'm pretty good. Like, we had a really great holiday. Like, I made a ham. I was pretty proud of myself, even though it was already cooked and you don't really have to do anything. Um, but yeah, I like cooked dinner, which was exciting for me. Um, Lots of just lazing around, sleeping, naps, watching lots of movies. We stayed up all night on Christmas night watching all the Purge movies because not sure why. But we decided to watch it. I think mostly because I have been talking about how much I hate the concept,
Mm-hmm.
and I've been told it's like the movie is really about classism and like all this stuff, and I was like, I don't know, I hate the idea, it's stupid, blah blah blah. And then I was like, fine, I'll just watch the first one. And then like 5 minutes before the end, I was like, get ready to put the second one on. Like just kept watching them. I was super nervous the whole time. Like yeah, it drives me crazy. I still hate the concept, but yeah, it was that was what we did.
All right.
Um, and yeah, it's just been good. I have been what's the word? Inducted into the world of Lego. Um, and this is all Matt's fault
It is.
because he got me a Lego set for Paris um, for my birthday, and I have been intimidated by it since then. So I was like, oh, I have to find the right time to start this. Like, I don't want to mess it up and like all this stuff. Lots of weird self worth stuff thrown in there. Therapy. Go get
Yeah.
therapy, people. And and so I finally I took everything out of the box. I think 2 weeks ago or last week.
Mm.
Um, and I looked at the bags and was like, why do so many of them say one? How do I know which one is one? And then I was like, okay, I started looking at the booklet, downloaded the app. I was like, okay, I think I'm ready. I think I understand. Figured out that all the ones that say one is one.
Yep. That's all step one.
And then I kind of like got my mind ready for it, and then I sat down the other day and actually started and started getting things going, and I was like, I am a god. I am an architect. I can build anything. It's not true. I'm lying to myself, but it is really fun. So I'm pretty stoked.
It's great mindless fun. Like even when you get upset of like messing up something and you got to go back or whatever, I don't know, it's just yeah, you can just not think and just sort of click things in place for an hour.
It's a little too fun.
Yeah.
Like it it feels too easy to feel this good. I'm like, what's the downfall here?
The
Like,
expense of Lego sets, as I've found.
yeah, well, yeah, at least this one was a gift. So thank you
You're
for
welcome.
bringing me into this world, and good luck to me and everyone on all my surfaces in this apartment
Right?
as I start getting.
Yeah, once I got back into it, I'm like, oh, I want to get this set. I want to get the Star Destroyer that's like 3 feet long, but it's like
Whoa.
$800. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy pants. I mean, it is inhibitive to continue doing, but
At
I
least like the
mean,
big ones that take a long time.
yeah.
You can get some smaller sets, that you can knock out real quick, but
Oh man, it's super cool.
it's fun.
So that's my takeaway. What's going on in your world, Matt?
Had a good holiday as well. My whole immediate family stayed at my parents' place Christmas Eve into Christmas.
Oh,
So
that's
that was fun.
adorable. I love that. Your family sounds so cute.
We try. But we had a big Polish dinner on Christmas Eve, and
Mm.
then waffles in the morning the next day.
Mm.
And watched the Christmas standards, Christmas Vacation and Christmas Story.
Mhm.
A little bit of the Lego Christmas special, the Lego Star Wars Christmas special.
Oh, nice.
Um, we attempted to watch Wonder Woman 1984, and I learned why we need to preserve the theatrical experience.
Uh-oh. What happened?
When a movie's just like on TV, at least in my family, they can't just sit and watch a movie when it's like at
Oh,
home.
yeah.
My mom will start asking questions like, "Who's that guy? Is that Sharon Stone?" Is
Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
My dad starts like cooking meals in the middle, like in the
Oh,
microwave, and you're
no.
like, "I'm trying to pay attention here."
Oh, yeah, that sucks.
We had two dogs wrestling in the background. It's
Oh, puppy.
this is not this is not conducive
This is not working for
to
you.
absorb a movie. But that's all right.
So, without diving into a movie breakdown, as we are wont to do, top level thoughts.
It was just fine.
That was my thought. It was a movie.
It exists. It killed a
It
couple
started
hours.
out, it got better,
Yeah.
it stayed better. The end.
Yeah, once it got out of doing the like buzz list feed of like top 10 things only 80s kids would know.
Oh god,
Once it got
yeah.
past that, it got better.
Yeah.
But yeah, it never really like peaked though either. It was just better.
It was fine.
Just fine. And I think that's about it. I don't know if I mentioned last week or not, so I'll mention it again because it's been most of my time as well. Is my car got stolen again, so
Right, yeah, what's the update?
the insurance company has towed it somewhere to where they're gonna decide if it's gonna get fixed or if it's totaled.
Mm.
So wait and see on that. I'll probably hear by the end of the week where it's at.
Oh my god.
But this time, yeah, they really wrecked it this time. So they didn't just steal it; they actually smashed into two cars.
Oh my
Yep.
gosh. So now your insurance company has to pay out on those?
No, actually, in Colorado law, at least, if your car is stolen, you're not liable for anything your car does.
Oh, thank goodness.
So, unfortunately, though, two other people got roped into this and got screwed out of this whole situation, too.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh.
So, one asshole just, like, fucked up three people.
Good job, guy.
So, that's fun. I thought they might have, like, it still could have been the same people, but I thought they might have, like, cloned my key fob or something. But looking at the damage, they brute forced the whole thing again. Brute forced the lock.
Oh
Ripped
yeah, it
open.
looked like I told you, it looked like they took a drill to your
Yep.
ignition.
When they first stole it like that closely again after just getting it back for a day, I thought they like cloned the fob and that's how easy it was and they just took it again. But no, it was
Right.
just another easy target. So yeah, I've been looking at new cars because obviously I can't keep this one anymore. Even if they do fix it, I've got to sell it. It's
Yeah, man.
obviously
Even if they do
targeted.
fix it, you have got to drive directly to the car dealer.
Yeah.
Like, don't even take that bitch home.
Yeah, no, I'm going to take it to my friend Doug's neighborhood or even my parents and, for any time that it needs to be parked and
Like,
just
yeah.
deal. But, so that sucks.
Yeah, definitely.
And my apartment complex hasn't been too helpful on that either. I got to call corporate
Oh,
this week.
shocking.
'Cause their answer to the whole situation was they can give me a garage for an extra $100 a month.
What?
And the garage is on literally the other side of the entire complex.
But what about the whole, like, you have a security thing, like people that are supposed to do their job?
We have a courtesy patrol, as they called it. Because I was like, yeah, your security isn't doing anything. They're like, well, we don't have security. We have like a courtesy patrol. It's like, well, they're not doing anything either. Because I've had friends parked in this parking lot for over 24 hours and they never got towed, and you always claim people get towed. So
Oh,
whatever
wow.
they're doing, they're not doing anything either.
Oh my God. What a
So
nightmare.
yeah, so
I'm
I'm gonna
sorry,
call
Matt.
corporate because at a certain point, like, not to get too in depth on this, but whatever.
Mm-hmm.
At a certain point, like, I can't add additional security. I can't add, a ring camera or a fence or anything. I can't add additional security to this. So I'm on their. I need
Right.
them to
That's their
provide that security.
responsibility to keep everybody safe. Ay, ay, ay. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, that sucks. I'm sorry.
But it has been fun looking at new cars. I always get an enjoyment out of that.
Well,
So
that's something.
there we go. So,
Bringing it back around.
yeah, bringing it back around to positivity. Speaking of bringing it around to positivity, what are we discussing today?
So, today, as it is our last episode of uh, the Goth and the Sloth podcast in 2020,
Hmm.
or being released in 2020, um, we thought that we would do kind of a year end wrap up, and we're going to keep it positive,
Yeah.
just like our last episode. We did pretty well.
Yeah.
So we're going to try to do that again. Um, and so we'll just be bouncing back and forth with some of the top things that we've witnessed this year. So we'll start with big stories. What's a big story that stuck with you this year?
I believe not as much as George Floyd as much as the Minnesota riots.
Hmm.
Um, that were obviously the direct result of George Floyd, but um, the general steam that the Black Lives Movement has picked up, and will
Yeah,
hopefully keep going into the new year, and hopefully pick up
absolutely.
more steam. To be honest, because it has died down slightly, but
Yeah, I mean that's the nature of these things. Like you have to make some noise on the streets, and then you got to get into the system
yep.
to make some change.
So, I think it was violent, but almost necessary because if you don't, or people don't listen to people just speak and tell you their problems, you have to get their attention first, and
Mm-hmm.
that is
Mm-hmm.
exactly what that did. So,
Yep.
I think there's gonna be some good coming out of it. I think there's already been some good coming out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know if we'll ever get to the point of, defunding the police or deconstructing our entire police system and fixing it from the inside out, but, it's a start.
Yeah, it's definitely a start. I mean, that's a huge story of 2020, and I agree. Like, I'm not, I will offer another big story just so we don't have the same story. But but yeah, the murder of George Floyd was a wake-up call to a lot of people
Mm-hmm.
to see what was happening for what it was. I will say that a whole lot of people didn't need that wake up call.
Yeah.
Like, we knew that this is the way it was. Like, we saw the footage for Philando Castile. We've seen it over and over and over and over and over for decades. And there is this like bittersweet aspect of it where it's like, finally people are waking up and seeing this for what it is. Finally people are outraged. And also, please don't go back to the way it was,
Yeah.
you know? If you hear anything, Nisha is about a few inches from my face and may decide to chew the microphone. Just gonna try to move this way. Oh no, she wants to go that way. Okay. Um, and then the big story I think that I want to highlight in addition to that is the impact of a global pandemic on communities of color
Mm-hmm.
and just disenfranchised communities, poorer communities. Like the we experienced a massive, I won't say once in a lifetime, but a pretty rare global pandemic that the human race has no resistance to
Yeah.
this year. Like, that's pretty freaking remarkable on its own. And then you look at the impact of the pandemic through the systems that are in place in this country, because that's what society is. We don't have a choice. That's how this works.
Yep.
Nothing happens in a vacuum. And when you take the catastrophe and put it through the American system, it absolutely shits on a massive group of people, and that is a huge problem. So I think that that story, in another, like, in this a similar way to how the murder of George Floyd woke a bunch of people up, I think it's positive. There's a potential for it to be positive that a lot of people are waking up to how the systems of government are failing a lot of like millions of people
Yeah,
in
absolutely.
this country. So I don't think it's any surprise that our big stories from 2020 have to do with the most, you know, notable things that happened this year. But I do think that in the same vein, they brought a lot of attention to things that people have been fighting for a long time.
Absolutely. Like, in the debates, in any debates of any politician level this year was asked, what do you think of defunding police, or do you support defunding the police? That wasn't even in the conversation last year at all. So it's
Yeah,
moved from, nothing to like everyone has to have a opinion on it.
right. And even though like a lot of that feels like lip service because they're politicians,
Yeah.
on another side of that, I mean, we get to see things happen now that weren't happening at the beginning of
Mhm.
2020. Like, if an officer uses excessive force, they get arrested
Yeah.
or they get fired immediately or whatever it is. Like, that wasn't happening before. Like, at least on that scale, that's something positive. My partner keeps pointing that out to me every time I get disenchanted, and we'll be watching the news or something. He'd be like, yeah, that wouldn't have happened in January. It's like, oh, yeah,
It's true. Yeah,
you're right.
there's a video recently that made its rounds, I think last week, of cops arresting a guy, and a cop punched him after he was in handcuffs, and then the cops that were also around there went ahead and handcuffed that cop. So
Yeah, that was so nice to watch. It was almost like, let's watch this on a loop and I'll pop some popcorn.
so yeah, and it's on your story, it is unfortunate that had to come to a lot of this, but it is finally in real time you can see like all these systems, and we've mentioned it multiple times over this year on our podcast. Everything that's set in place just entirely breaks down once it's put on any strain, or it's people have been complaining like this isn't going to work, or we're having issues here, and everyone's like, no, it's
Hmm.
fine. But now, because of COVID, you can see like you know the school system has a major discrepancy where
Hmm.
if you don't have internet at home, you're completely lost.
Hmm.
And
Yeah, and and we'll take this positive here in a second, but it sounds like, or it doesn't, to me, it feels like 2020, the subtitle was cracking the veneer of American idealism.
yeah,
Like, it's all a show, guys. Help us.
absolutely. I think it definitely, yeah, on the global scale, people finally saw America for what we've been seeing it on the inside for years. And now you
Yeah,
can see
yeah.
everyone's like, all the all the fake ads for our $600, where it's like, for $1.29 a month, you can also support an American citizen.
Jesus Christ. Yeah. So, moving on from big stories from the year, as we look back on this, what every commercial says, this remarkable year. So, what is a big takeaway from everything that's happened in 2020 that you'd like to take forward into the new year?
Um, well, I'd like to keep the idea in my mind that America's a third world country with with just a lot of money. But
Mm-hmm.
and I know it sounds negative, but actually, it's just like we need to improve things, and we need to stop imagining we're done and we're number one. We can stop. We're you know we got
Mm-hmm.
things that need to be fixed, and we can continue looking at those and working on those, getting the right people involved.
Yeah, yeah. No, I hear you. Like I agree. I mean, granted, America, your little like quote there, like America's a third world country with a lot of money. It it feels so right. I mean,
Yeah,
so many third world countries are countries with a lot of money. They just don't, the people don't ever get to see
yeah,
it.
that's
And
true.
that is, yep. Um, so, but I mean, I think you're right. I think that that's something that can certainly be taken forward, and it almost feels to me like reconstruction again.
Yeah,
But hopefully the good guys can drive the story this time.
right.
So we'll see. I mean, I think you're right. This is an opportunity to start really making some significant changes.
Yeah.
My big takeaway from the year is a little bit more sentimental. Um, I, as I look back on the year, one thing that I really enjoy thinking about, at least, or something I like to consider, is how personal relationships have changed over the year.
Mm-hmm.
Like, a few things fell by the wayside, which I approve of, like getting dressed up for no reason, wearing makeup for no reason. Um, but also like there's like this understanding almost as a community, at least I feel this way, that we still need each other.
Mm-hmm.
Like we just we just had to make it look different. Like instead of we're all going to go out to party and like be near each other but never talk about anything, as a friendship has shifted to, oh no, we're going to sit here and talk about everything.
Yeah.
Like everything's slowed down. Personal relationships have been growing deeper. People are more authentic. Like all those stupid, silly little things that we did to try to seem this, that, or the other seem to have fallen away, which I love.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know. For me, that's been a really positive takeaway from the year is just like let people be and tell the people that you value them and stop being fake.
Yeah. The sheen of keeping up appearances has definitely gone away in a good way.
Yeah, I hope it stays that way. I truly do. Like I've told you, Matt, on many occasions, it drives me nuts to have to live in a world where everybody is keeping up appearances.
Yeah.
Like who? It means that I'm not talking to anyone of substance anytime I go
Yep.
anywhere. Like everyone is just an avatar, and it's like that is like the opposite of the world that I want to live in. So this gave me hope that we could live in a society where people are actually genuine with each other,
Absolutely.
and that is something I really hope doesn't go away in the new
Yeah,
year.
and me coming from a law firm where they're still the most strict dress and everyone comes in in their suits and ties and whatnot. I'm curious what happens if we start going back full time, if that will even be a thing anymore, or if it's just on court days
Yeah.
people get dressed up. Because we've learned you don't need to look a certain way to get your job done.
Nope. You do not. And all of those rules serve like no
Yeah,
purpose other than
yeah,
exclusion. So just let people be themselves, do their job, whatever it is, and you will have more fulfilled humans around you instead of people trying to constantly code switch from this to that to office person to comic person to like whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Just to like be yourself the whole
Yep.
time. It's fine. We're all humans and we all just need to get through this year. So we just let all those things fall away. And I think that's a really positive
Yeah.
thing.
I think another takeaway I want to pull into next year and further years is just wearing a mask in general more often. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I think, we were discussing it before we just started this, where it's like we just need to, take into Japan's theory and just wear masks all the time. If you're on a busy
Yeah.
bus, you don't know who's around you that might be immune compromised or whatever. Like, just this needs to be part of our new fashion. That's our new way of life.
Yeah, and with that, the like building off of that, just the idea of like personal responsibility in a
Mm-hmm.
community. Like this isn't the you
Yeah.
show. like like think about the people around you and how your actions impact those
Yeah.
people.
Although I still think there's a huge community is refusing and continually refusing to do that, but you
There
know,
is. That's yeah, that's not that's yeah, that is
but we can
true.
always hope
Mhm.
that people start learning that yeah, there's people around you, and everything you do affects what affects them too.
Mhm.
So it's worth taking a moment to question: is what am I
Yeah.
doing affecting people around me?
I second that. Hear hear. And moving on to our final area that we'd like to discuss in this year-end wrap-up of TGTS podcast. Um, so what is something that you've personally accomplished this year that you are, or multiple
Okay.
things that you are proud of or want to reflect on?
So well, the first obvious big one is what you're listening to right now. We,
Haha.
me and Luna have been planning to do a podcast for like a year, maybe a year and a half, and we could just never
Yeah.
land on what subject matter we wanted to cover. And it
Hmm.
just became, well, we got to do it now because this is the end of the world. So let's just do it.
That's so true. That's exactly how this started. We were like, oh, snap. We should chronicle this.
But yeah, it's been great to be able to do this every week, and we continue doing it, and it's been great. Other
Hmm.
things is I got my personal music and writing again has been really great.
Heck yeah.
Um,
I'm super proud of you for that
oh,
too.
thank you. Rediscovering my love of Legos because that happened at the beginning of the um, lockdown is when I got the Batmobile.
Yeah, you rediscovering though? Like when was the last time you built something before that?
Um, I got a couple sets here and there over the last few years before that. Nothing major. And then when I was little, I had there was like this set of colonial battleships and
Oh,
that I
okay.
had like a ton of growing up and just, love putting them
Oh,
together. And
that's cool. Okay, cool.
so that's
Yay.
been fun to get back into. I did get an International
Mm-hmm.
Space Station set for Christmas from my parents, so I'm going to put that together.
Oh,
That'll be
snap.
fun.
That is the most Matt present I've ever heard of in my life. International Space Station in Lego
Yep.
form. Yep, that was made for Matt.
And then what I've done with my band, considering the restrictions we've been under,
Yeah.
when we did our stream doing the movie, after we were done, we kind of discussed this. This was supposed to be kind of our year. We had a lot already lined up. We were going to open
Mm-hmm.
for Power Glove. We were going to open for Okilly Dokilly. We were going to play Denver Comic Con. We filled out the form and sounded like we're in pretty good running to play Dragon Con. And we had all these things, and it immediately just the rug got pulled out from under us on everything.
Yeah, it really did. Yeah.
But we got together. We refigured our path and figured out some new avenues. We got music videos done. We did some recording.
Mm-hmm.
I'm able to work on my producing a lot more, and I think I did pretty good on some of the songs that we made as a producer and all that fun stuff. And I think we were able to accomplish things as a band with incredible restrictions this year.
Absolutely. Yeah. That is so cool. That's one hell of a year for you.
Yeah, it actually seemed like when you look back on it and you specifically go like, what positively happened this year?
Right,
You can
yeah.
find some stuff. So what do you got?
Well, my list is a lot shorter than yours. But my list is just different. So I mean, you guys have been hearing me this year. I yeeted an organ out of my body,
Yep.
which has been awesome. So that alone, I'm like just happy that it's over with, it's done with. I'm not happy about all the bills I keep getting, but I'm happy that at least medically I don't have to deal with that anymore. That was really
And you can
cool.
eat pizza again.
But I can eat pizza again. It's so good. Um, and also, that's not really an accomplishment I made. Like, that was probably an accomplishment that a doctor did or something. Like, I don't really feel like I can count that. But I do feel like one major thing that I've done this year is I really buckled down and wrestled with my mental
Yeah.
health, which was hard.
Oh yeah, that is not something for the faint.
Like I didn't, with the studio closed, like, there are no shows, there's nothing like I did one little choreography thing, like nothing that I would say like, oh, that was a real personal accomplishment because in the light of what I have done in the past, it feels like not much.
Mm-hmm.
But the one thing that I do feel like I is worth noting is that I committed to getting therapy, like consistent long-term therapy. Um, and I, searched and searched because I don't have money for
All
that.
right.
And I found an intern that worked for me, so it was super cheap. Um, and like I just really put my foot down and said I can't keep avoiding the things that are making life really difficult to live. It's going to destroy
Yeah.
me. Like I was in some dark, dark, dark places earlier this year, and I feel a lot better now.
That's fantastic.
Um, yeah, like it's not, I wouldn't say that like I am healed, I have fixed everything. Like no, that's not how this works. I'm definitely on the journey, but where I am now, like the footing that I have right now versus the footing I had in like July is vastly different.
Yeah.
Like so I have like this sense of accomplishment in facing that
Yeah.
like head on. Really, really facing that, committing to new medication, committing to changing that medication when it didn't feel like it was working. And, just it's a lot of emotional labor, it's a lot of anxiety and depression and scary, scary moments, but it's been worth it. And I'm just really proud of myself for going
Yeah,
through
you
that.
should be. And you seem, a lot of times you feel like a different person in a good way, I think, from the outside. um, you know,
That's good, I think.
you were never like toxic or anything, but you feel like you're happier and you can go to a better place easier than,
Mm,
what you used to go through before. And I think that's really awesome.
yeah, yeah, it's really cool. So, I in that respect, like it makes me feel like I have more opportunities to accomplish things next year
Yeah,
because now I feel like I'm in a better, more stable place. Um, so we'll see.
you will.
I don't know. Yeah. So that's all we were going to cover, but is there anything else you wanted to mention
I'd like to
for
sneak
like,
one more topic in.
yeah, go for it.
What do you want to do in 2021?
Ooh. That's a big question. Um, I think the biggest thing I want to do, well, it's so hard because some of the stuff is like not in my control.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know when the vaccine is going to be 100% like affecting how we live our lives again. And
Yeah.
like, what if there is a new strain that changes things up? Like, I just, so it's hard to be like, oh, I want to produce a show
Mm-hmm.
and that be, I want to set something
Sure.
attainable,
Yeah.
right? Like, I don't want to be like, oh, I want to produce a show and then it doesn't happen and then I'm, dead inside. Um, so I guess my goals are probably a little more down to earth level, like a little bit more personal.
Sure.
Like, I want to, um, I want to achieve some certain skills on vertical apparatus like rope and silks, that I'm training right now and I can't
Yeah.
do, but I'm working on it. So I'm hoping to level up my skill in those areas, um, in a specific way. And I want to keep working on my mental health and keep working on how I feel about releasing music.
Okay. Yeah.
And so hopefully I can actually pull the trigger. It's ready to go. It's just I have a mental, emotional block.
Oh, sure. I know.
Um,
Well, I go through the same thing with mine too.
yeah, I think, everybody's got their different reasons. Like mine's tied up in some crazy, stupid stuff. Um, but I think I can overcome that this year.
Yeah.
I think that's my goal. What about you?
Well, this is gonna sound weird, but just follow me on this train of thought.
Okay.
I want us to have to shift our format.
Oh yeah, that'd be
I would
great.
love that there's not enough COVID news to sustain a show anymore.
Hell yeah. I am there for
I mean,
that.
we have zero
Like, can we
control.
not have to talk about depressing things every
Yeah.
week? That'd be
Yeah, we have
cool.
zero control over that, but that would be a great accomplishment where we have to like we got nothing like
Yeah, we gotta shift the show. It's time.
uh
It's no longer pandemic
yeah.
edition.
Yeah, I want to just keep going kind of where I'm going on certain things. Um
Hmm.
Keep writing. I want to learn piano a lot more. I know it, but I want to learn it more. I actually got a lot of sheet music for Christmas as well. So
Nice.
I'm going to be practicing piano and I want to get a bit more proficient at it.
Very cool.
And I think that's where I'm kind of heading is more music stuff, I think, for next year.
I love that. I think that that's brilliant. That's that's where I was last year looking into 2020 and then 2020 was like, ha ha ha, ha. And I'm in a different place I am than I was then. I'm still working on music. Still writing some stuff here and there. Um, but I think I really needed to work on myself to be able to see a sustainable
Yeah.
artist and my life not just end abruptly at some point. So, so yeah, hopefully I can join you on some part of that adventure of
Oh, absolutely.
getting back into the swing of that.
Yeah, we'll get a collab going.
Yeah. Very
So I
cool.
think that'll bring us into our distractions. What have we been distracting ourselves with this week?
Well, my distraction this week has been Legos. And also it's been a little bit of Lego here, a little bit of Lego there, lots of
Mm-hmm.
football because it is, you know, the Christmas weekend. So there's been football. Today's the fourth day, consecutive day of football. That Green Bay
Oh yeah.
game yesterday was too much fun to watch.
Yep.
Um, and I think other than that, like it's been, I kind of put all the shows on pause, um, just for the sake of like watching
Sure.
football. So yeah, I'll say Legos and football and food. Lots
Lots
of
of food.
food. Lots of food. I'll work the food off eventually. What are you distracting yourself with? Or what have you been distracting yourself with?
Um, yeah, same. All the Christmas stuff. A lot of that. I got a big project today that I'm gonna be finishing up, where I'm upgrading the processor in my computer, which is kind of nerve wracking because that's one of those things that if you do something wrong, you have hosed your entire machine, and
Mm-hmm.
so it could be great
It's
or it
terrifying.
could be bad. We will find out. But so been that,
I'm sure it will be
yeah,
great.
and then lots of online car shopping and seeing what I want to replace my awesome Velociraptor with.
Hmm.
Since
That is exciting.
so
Like that is a fun distraction to like
it is.
imagine things to buy.
Especially when you start looking at like Volkswagens and all their funky little like additions that are pointless, but they're like, oh, that's kind of fun. I like how the
Yeah.
logo on the
Yeah.
back turns inside out, and that becomes your backup camera. When you put it in reverse, it actually flips around. Um,
Weird.
there's
It's such a weird
yeah.
Transformer-esque attitude to that.
If you put your thumb on part of the door handle, it will turn your mirrors up. So when you're parked, your mirrors won't be dinged by people.
Huh.
And it's like that's so
Yeah, it's a
pointless, but it's
Transformer.
like that's so like they've thought of that.
It's absolutely pointless.
Um,
That's so
if
crazy.
you if you get an automatic, which I probably won't get if I get the Volkswagen, but their shifter for the automatic is just like a nubbin that you just roll your thumb over and put it into drive.
So you twiddle your
Yeah,
car. This is feeling very odd. I don't know how I feel about these cars. This is a horny
right.
Decepticon.
Oh,
Interesting.
and I think that brings us into our favorite part of the show: only in a pandemic.
And major civil unrest.
Stories that can only happen in a pandemic or major civil unrest. What do you got for us this week?
Well, in the spirit of 2020, I feel like my only in a pandemic story this year or this week is very much in the spirit of this past year. Only in a pandemic do you spend all this time working on your skincare routine. You get it figured out, you're doing pretty well, and then you go to a meeting and you wear a mask for 5 hours and you come home to three new
Yep,
pimples. It is the worst. And I hate it so much. And it's only in a pandemic when
this
I
is
have to
true.
deal with this crap. I'm so mad. I like woke up in the morning. I was like, oh, this isn't too bad. Like looking pretty good. And then put on a mask, went to a meeting because we were cleaning up the studio, retaping lyras and stuff. Did a little bit of training, came home, three new pimples.
That's been something I'm hearing from a lot of people that have to wear them all day and stuff. Is that it's messing with your skin pretty
Oh
bad.
man. Yeah, when I was working at the cafe and I was wearing it for like 7.5 hour shifts, I was like, it was brutal. Like, yeah, I'm very grumpy about it. But yeah, how about you? What's your story this week?
I'll just relate it back to my car again, but only in a pandemic do you have to consider making appointments to test drive cars.
Oh, yeah. I guess that is
And
how that works now.
also checking with who wants to go shopping with you because of who feels the most comfortable.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
usually I would bring my dad, but he's immune compromised. It's like, do you feel safe being around that many people and test driving cars?
Right.
I'll leave it up to him to decide. But it's like it's doing car shopping is like that's a lot of interaction, regardless of what they can help
Yeah,
But
that's like a whole event.
yeah.
Like that's a day of, or multiple days, depending on when you get your appointments,
Mm-hmm.
of like, yeah, wow. I haven't thought
So
about
yeah,
that at all.
I got to pre-call anywhere I want to test drive to see if they're doing appointments or if you can just show up and do it the old way, or what's the procedure now with buying a
Yeah.
car?
Huh, interesting. Well,
Because I'm
hopefully
going with
you guys have a positive experience doing all of that and they have it all figured out for you.
yeah. Oh well, I'll definitely report back. But yeah, since I'm trying, the three cars I'm looking at are brand new brands I've never had before in my entire life. It's like you gotta get behind the wheel and see how it
Oh,
feels.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah. Not a time for sight unseen.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
So I think we'll wrap it up. So let's talk about our hermit level on the Leonardo DiCaprio scale, of a 10 being Howard Hughes, and you've been completely locked off in your home theater for over 6 months and haven't seen anybody, and a 1 being Jack on the Titanic, and you're on the lower decks dancing with everybody and having a good old Christmas with a huge party.
Um, I would say that I'm about a 9.5. It's just been me and my partner locked down here. We haven't gone anywhere, done anything. I've rarely worn pants. Like, very little human interaction. I did have to go to the studio to retape some lyrics, so that's the point five. Um, but yeah, other than that, it's like, what outside world?
Right?
It's me, the partner, and the cat here right now, so yeah, this is fine.
Yeah.
What about you?
I thought it'd be higher, but looking back, I think I'm about on an 8.
Okay.
Like I mentioned, spent Christmas with my family for 2 days,
Mm-hmm.
and then had band practice yesterday. But without having a car, I'm doing delivery groceries, so I
Oh,
don't even go to the
yeah.
grocery store. So I
Yeah.
should be locked up a bit more, but it just happened to, fold over onto Christmas. But
Right, right. Yeah, you would have been super hermity.
yeah, we'll see how the next few weeks pan out because, yeah, not even getting a rental car this time. I'm just like, screw it, just get a car.
Yeah. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. You don't have to go anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Although I will say the Safeway delivery, even though you have to do it like 3 days in advance to get the day you want, did
hmm.
work out very well.
Oh,
So,
good. Yeah, I still haven't figured out grocery delivery here. It's very confusing to me. And also, I never think of everything I need on my list at the same time.
yeah, I mean, you can change it up until the day of delivery. So if you think of something the last minute, you can add it,
Oh,
um,
okay.
which is which is nice. But yeah, like it was like I picked the cheaper option, which is like a 3-hour window,
Mm-hmm.
and they came within that window and everything, but I was still asleep when they came, and so whenever I'm woken up by someone banging on my door, I go into an immediate like cat like panic.
Ah!
I'm like, huh, who is it? What's it? What do you want? It's like, oh, food, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I ordered that. Right. Oh, I have one more uh addition to the distraction
Oh yeah.
section, late edition. I got an espresso machine and with a milk frothing, like a steam wand.
Ooh.
And so I've been making some bomb ass cappuccinos and lattes. And so that's been pretty rad.
Can you do latte art yet?
I cannot do latte. Not with this steam wand. This steam wand is like, here, have some foam. Like, there's not a lot of intricacy that can happen here. But I'll try. I did a little bit. Like, I was able to get a little bit of a, like, ripple going. So I'll see what I can do. But,
All right.
yeah. Anyway, all right.
Fun
So that's
stuff. Yeah. So let's wrap it up. So where can people find you if they want to wish you a happy New Year's?
I am at Luna underscore Minuit, Luna underscore Minuit on Instagram and Twitter. And you can find the podcast at Goth and Sloth on Instagram and Twitter as well, or email us at gothandsloth@gmail.com. And what about you?
I'm on Twitter at wizard_Matt. My Instagram is wizard cosplay. My band is Leonardo Band on both SoundCloud and Facebook. My channel, YouTube channel, is Matt the Pharaoh Wizard, where me and my band just did another episode of Raiders of the Lost Comic movie, where
Oh, nice.
we watched the failed Wonder Woman pilot from 2011.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. I remember you saying
And
that.
so that was fun. And then also my personal music stuff is Matthew James Music 2020 on SoundCloud, where I just uploaded 2 songs yesterday.
Oh, snap.
So
Very
good
cool.
stuff.
Well, yeah. Well, thank you for listening for this insane year. And we will see you in the new year. Wash your hands.
And wear your damn mask.